What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jason here with the Cow Park Bros. And of course, on behalf of my fellow host, Terrence, I just want to come to you and kind of say thank you for listening to us for all this time. And can you believe it's been almost 1 year, the Cow Park Bros? Yes. Our anniversary episode is coming up very fast. It'll be in April. So, again, thank you for all that time. Thank you for listening. And in fact, for our anniversary show, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. We want to hear messages from you, whether it be go to our website, send us an actual voice message, or going to our voicemail, sending it that way, or just sending us a message on social media. We want to hear from you. We want to know what your favorite part of the Cowpart Bros is, what you've enjoyed the most, what you haven't enjoyed, what you love the most, favorite segments, favorite moments, whatever it may be. We just want to hear from you. And whatever we receive, we're going to incorporate that into our anniversary episode and just enjoy the fact that, again, 1 year almost of the Cal Park Bros. And that wouldn't happen because of you guys. So thank you very much. And again, we want to hear from you. So again, make sure you go to calpartbros.com, click on the message little button there. That'll give you the option to send us a voice message, which we can play on the show. Or you can go to 405-877-BROS. Call us there, leave a voice message there as well. Again, also want to use that for the show. And again, also, if you want to hit us up on social media or send us an email to calpartbros@gmail.com, we'll take it that way as well. But make sure you get on that and do that so we can get that done. We can hear your voice. We want to hear from you. All right. But always don't forget, when it comes to the Cal Park Bros, make sure you like us, love us, share us, and follow us. Because if you like us, why wouldn't you?
Welcome back to Cal Park Bros. Jason and I are fresh off the segment regarding cultural appropriation. If my name was Nora, I'd probably come up with a different stage name too. Let's be honest.
Well, your name is Terrence. You didn't come up with a new one, so here we are.
Because I got it right the first time.
Terrence with an E,
Anyways,
by the way. So
yeah. All right. In segment 3, we're going to be talking about the end of an era. And that is one Tom Brady retiring from the NFL. After it was a funny lead up to the actual retirement announcement, Jason, because at first Adam Schefter drops the notification that, hey, Tom Brady is retired. And then he has to retract it because apparently Tom Brady wasn't officially ready to pull the trigger the previous week. But as of February 1st, it's official. Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback Tom Brady announced his retirement on the NFL, saying that he's not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. Quote, I've always believed the sport of football is an all-in proposition. If 100% competitive commitment isn't there, you won't succeed. And success is what I love so much about the game, Brady said in a statement on Instagram. There's a physical, mental, and emotional challenge every single day that has allowed me to maximize my highest potential. And I've tried my very best these past 22 years. There are no shortcuts to success on the field or in life. It was difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I'm not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I've loved my NFL career, and now is my time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention. He definitely had a better statement than Aquafina, by the way. Aquafina should have had whoever wrote this fucking thing. You disagree?
I'm saving my energy for later in the segment.
What are you, a boxer? You ain't got to conserve energy, dog. Let's go.
I think I might.
Oh, God. But Brady, age 44, widely considered to be the greatest quarterback in NFL history, won 7 NFL championships. And that's the most won by a single player, along with 5 Super Bowl MVPs. So 20 years of one team, dog. This is an impressive resume. I know Jason. I know Jason well enough to know that he doesn't feel that Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time. But let me start with this by saying this. After Brady won the 4th one, I think, well, one, he was on the same footing as Joe Montana, who many could argue is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And I felt like, hey, man, if you can get to 4, we can talk about it. And then he surpassed it, and he got 5. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, I have to actually acknowledge some of this greatness begrudgingly. And so, I know there's going to be a lot of haters, especially with all the Deflategate stuff, that will basically discount his resume. But for a guy that 6th-round pick, 7 championships in 22 seasons, the fact that he even made it 22 seasons, 84,250 passing yards. It's insane what he accomplished. If he just would have retired after he was done with the Pats, it definitely would have had a pretty compelling argument for best quarterback of all time. But I think he's also one of the most polarizing picks in terms of best quarterback of all time, because he's got the resume, he's got the wins, he's got the personal accolades. Seven rings is pretty hard to go against, even amongst fellow GOATs. So, Jason, what are your thoughts?
Thoughts on what specifically?
Tom Brady being the best quarterback of all time.
Okay, so again, yesterday I told you you can ask me whatever question you want, and that's going to
I
determine the
mean,
answer. Okay,
well,
so
who cares about yesterday? We're talking about today.
I'm getting into it. So my point was, I didn't know what you're going to ask me when it comes to throwing it to me, throwing the ball to me. Um, but now you're asking me my thoughts on him being the greatest quarterback of all time. I think that's not accurate at all. So first of all, so obviously you're saying he is the greatest quarterback of all time.
I'm saying a compelling argument could be made, and I'm saying if you feel differently, I would like to know why.
But I'm asking you, do you think he's the greatest of all time?
I'm saying it's a compelling argument, and
And
I can lean towards it. Listen, I already told you I wanted I wanted it to be anybody else. Okay, I kept moving the goalposts, pun intended. I feel like I've been moving the goalposts literally the last 10 years on this guy, and every time he kept meeting the challenge. Just because you don't like someone personally, like, I get it. People don't like the Patriots. I get it. People don't like Tom Brady. But objectively, this motherfucker was producing, okay?
listen, so I said on this show multiple times, I despise Aaron Rodgers, right? But I can still recognize he's a great player on the field. As far as between the lines, throwing the ball, whatever, he's one of the greatest in the game right now. Same thing for Tom Brady. I recognize that he is one of the best of all time. Is he the greatest of all time? I'd say no. So obviously you do. You're not willing to say it. You're not willing to put it on wax. Okay.
I'm telling you the progression that I've made on my assessment of
No,
Tom
like you said,
Brady.
I ain't talking about progression. I ask you point blank. Do you think he's the greatest of all time? You said yes or no. If you don't, great. But if you do, great. It's one or the other. It's either yes or no.
So you mentioned Aaron Rodgers. Do you think Tom Brady's better than Aaron Rodgers?
If listen, I don't think either one of them are the best of all time. Okay, but here's my problem. The first thing everyone wants. Okay, and honestly, the first thing people want to say when it comes to Brady being the GOAT, or sometimes the only thing people want to say, is the rings. Do you agree with that statement, sir?
I don't think it's the rings.
No,
I think it's the
no,
fact.
no. I'm not asking what you think. I'm asking what most people will say or consider when they first thing they bring up when him being the GOAT. The number one thing or the only thing they bring up is the rings. Do you agree? Yes or no?
It's not the only thing.
Okay,
It's not
okay.
the only
That's what I'm getting at. Okay, so take that away. What else about him in his career makes him the GOAT?
The fact that he was able to not only produce, not only did he have an exceptionally great career, he was able to extend that career over the course of 22 seasons.
So that makes somebody the GOAT.
In this case,
Is
yeah,
Kareem is,
or or at least
is Kareem
or at
Abdul-Jabbar the
least
GOAT
let's
in
talk about
basketball?
it.
Is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar the GOAT in the basketball because he played 20 years and is the all-time leading scorer? Is he the GOAT in basketball?
Some people would say that,
I'm
yeah,
asking you.
yeah.
So you think Kareem's the GOAT because he played 20 years?
And how good he was in his last years, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Which that seems to be a core part of what made listen, damn it, I don't have to like this person, but I at least gotta respect it. You know, and Aaron Rodgers is playing some of his best football in his latter years as well. So if you say it's somebody else, that's fine. But
Okay, so
I gotta compare it. Did that person play 22 years? Did that person was that person competing at a high level their last year?
okay, first of all, longevity alone doesn't make you even in the conversation for GOAT. That makes you very lucky and fortunate.
You need luck in every
But
sport,
but,
though.
but
So I'm not understanding why you
because
would
that
discount that.
because just because you have luck doesn't mean you're the GOAT. It just means you just have luck. That's it. You know, how many other athletes can we say were lucky in their career, but they're not the GOAT?
I think you just I think where I'm at is that I can be I can move past the begrudgingly state that I was in maybe 7, 8 years ago. I'm just like, damn it, I don't like this motherfucker, and I can say, you know what, that was pretty good, pretty good.
Stop. So first of all, as I've acknowledged, my when it comes to conversation of the greatest of all time, it has nothing to do with him off the field and him being a whatever. It's the fact that whenever I have this conversation with somebody about the GOAT and Tom Brady, they want to bring up either the rings or his longevity. So not even bring up the comparisons to what happened on the field when it comes to performance, stats, whatever. It's always
I mean,
it's
I would say the longevity as part of the on-field
no,
performance.
no, it isn't. No, it isn't. Because again, how many other players have played 20 years in any sport and they're not the goat? So again, take away the rings and longevity, which means nothing. Put it on the field when it comes to performance and stats, and compare it to the other people who are in the goat conversations, which really only two other people.
I feel like you just need to say you love Peyton Manning and be done
Because
with
it has
it.
nothing to do with Peyton Manning. Because the fact of the matter is, people don't have any other argument for Brady being the GOAT other than the rings and his 20 years, and that's it. Because if you dare bring up anything else, when you compare it to other people, again, comparatively, he's not that impressive.
Who are these other impressive
So,
people?
okay, let's be honest here. When it comes to any quarterback in the GOAT quarterback conversation, there's really only three people to really seriously be taken seriously. That's Montana, Brady, and Manning. There really is no other option. Do you agree with that as of right now?
We're not even going to put Drew Brees in there. Okay,
As the
cool.
greatest of all, no, no, absolutely not. So here's the thing. So because when you take Brady's longevity, obviously he played 20 whatever hell years it was. Now obviously that's going to inflate a lot of his numbers when it comes to his passing yards, his touchdowns, all stuff like that. But when you break it down per game, per season, whatever, his numbers are equally as comparable or not as good as the other two guys I mentioned. So, and that's where I come into play is like, is he really the GOAT or does he just have better numbers because he played longer? And again, kudos to you for doing it. Which I, again, also say it was luck. Number one, that he happened to get lucky on playing, you know, getting positioned to certain things, begging people to come back out of retirement so you can try to win something. You know,
Who do they have to beg to come out of retirement?
Rob Gronkowski.
I kind of feel like he didn't have to beg him. Just
Are you
saying.
sure? Because let's be honest here, the only reason he came back is because Tom Brady happened to be, still playing somewhere else that wasn't New England. I'm retired, and Brady makes a phone call to Gronk. Hey, come back, I need you. And Brady has said that. He's said that before, that he's actually called Gronk to get him to come back and play. He said that. So yeah, so there's no argument to that.
It's subjective, but
It's not
okay.
subjective. He said it. It's not really subjective when he said that's what happened. That makes it a fact. So it's not subjective because it's a fact. So again, going back to the numbers, the actual numbers, comparatively, break them down per game, per season, whatever. His numbers aren't that great. And yes, I'll go ahead and pick one of the three. Peyton Manning, they're not as good comparatively. Again, he had those 4 extra seasons more than Peyton Manning, and he just happens to have 12. What was it 11, 12,000 yards more? Across 4 years, do the math easily. Same number of years. Guess who still would have the lead in all these numbers? So again, that's why I say Tom Brady's not the GOAT. Now, when it comes to the ring part of it, yes, factually he has 7. But let's be real. You can say that it's hate, whatever, but the fact of the matter is those cheating scandals happened, right? And I agree with you. They're probably cheating those other years as well, but they weren't caught. And that's what I was speaking of is the things that actually happened as opposed to probablys, what ifs, or whatnot. They actually happened, right? So take those 2 rings away. Yes, he still has 5 more than any other quarterback. Tie for the most for any player. But that 5 doesn't seem quite as impressive compared to 7. So that's why.
It's still
So that's why.
five, and it's still 5
So,
MVPs
so that's
too.
why I
So
reject any notion that people say that just you know with such absolution that Tom Brady is just the GOAT completely and just reject anybody else. That's why I don't subscribe to that BS. Okay.
I don't even think I said I would reject anybody
Well,
else.
I'm
I
not
think
referring to you. I'm just referring in general to anybody that just says Tom Brady is the GOAT and there's no discussion about it. Well, yes, there actually is.
that the discussion is the whole fun of it because um you know who knows what ungodly stats Peyton Manning would have had if he didn't have to Frankenstein his
See,
back.
I'm not even going there. I'm not going to the whole what ifs. I'm not going into that because, like you always say, ifs, whatever. So I'm not even going into that. I'm going off what actually happened, still breaking it down. And by the way,
You're going to what actually happened, but the parts that you don't like to happen, like well, those
it's
don't
not what I
count.
like. It happened. Did it not happen? So it's not that I like it or not. It actually happened. We can't take it. Like I said, we can't take it away. We can't take away, looking at tape and stuff like that. We can't take away deflating balls and stuff like that. And no, we're not talking about Barry Bonds, but yeah,
Or Canseco,
right,
yeah.
exactly. But
Anyway,
hang on. And the reason why I bring up the whole thing about people saying there's no discussion, Tom Brady's the GOAT, and people having segments on their shows talking about he's probably the goatest of goats in their sport. I'm like, whoa, bro, calm that down. That I will not have any discussion about that. I will definitely disrespect anybody that says that. But the reason why that stuff came up is because Tom Brady officially announced his retirement, air quotes. And I don't fully believe that either. I'm not fully invested in the fact that he's retired. I'll believe more so, and I still won't fully believe it. I'll more so believe that he's retired when week 1 of the next season comes up and he's not on somebody's roster. But I really don't believe that yet. And I'll tell you what, there was an article in People Magazine that mentioned this on his podcast, Let's Go Podcast, which I believe is on Sirius XM. On the most recent episode, he actually said that when it comes to the idea about his future in football and him coming back and playing, he said, "You never know." That's not talking to somebody who's officially retired. Because once you're retired, you're done and that's it. And I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna say this, Terrence. Terrence, do you know whereabouts or what state Tom Brady grew up in?
no, where to
He's
go?
a California kid. Do you happen to know who his favorite football team was growing up?
No.
It was the San Francisco 49ers. Terrence, how did the 49ers season end this year?
Okay, I'm done with the trivia, bro. He's 44, and Giselle is done waiting for him.
No, 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 no. The fact of the matter is this. There's no trivia about it. The fact of the matter is that the 49ers finished their season losing in the NFC Championship game. They were very close to getting back to the Super Bowl. Some might say certain things play out, certain positions were a little upgraded. They might have actually done something. They obviously have a young quarterback they just drafted last year. Trey Lance had his rookie season. So many people think that Jimmy Garoppolo's out of there and they're going to be ready to move on. But hold on a second. People are thinking they might be ready to move on to Trey Lance. Maybe. Or maybe 49ers management is thinking, you know what? We were pretty close to winning the Super Bowl. Maybe if we had just a little bit better of a quarterback, maybe we could have actually done something. Well, hey, look. Look who happens to be a free agent. Even if he comes out of retirement, he can go wherever he wants. And why not go back and come back? If he's going to make a comeback, because you never know, if he's going to make a comeback, why would he not play 1 year for his favorite team, the same team that his favorite player played on, Joe Montana? Why not come back for 1 more year? Because you know what? "Quote unquote, you never know." So, yeah. That's why I say I will not fully believe he's fully retired, at least until week one comes around and he's not on somebody's roster. And even then, I still won't believe it. But yeah, so that's why yeah, all that retirement stuff. Yeah, I say yeah, right.
Yeah, apparently Father Time doesn't exist in Jason's world.
Yeah, you do realize you mentioned his age. You realize there are actually quarterbacks who played in the league that were older than him, correct?
Or in it, how many of them made the Pro Bowl?
Doesn't matter. We're not talking about Pro Bowl. We're talking about guys playing in the league. That's all we're talking about.
How many of them made the
Okay, so
playoffs?
but now according now, okay, so here's the thing. Okay, that's true. Okay, maybe. But you're talking about Tom Brady the GOAT, right? He's can be better than those guys at 45 because he's Tom Brady the GOAT, right? So those guys don't matter because he's Tom Brady the GOAT, right? So yeah. So all that stuff ain't talk about whatever. That tenure stuff don't matter because again, it's not like the 49ers were just a trash team. Like I said, they were in the NFC Championship game. So it's not like they were a trash team. So again, that's just one example. Then obviously there are other teams he can come back to. But I'm throwing that out there because that's probably the most realistic team that he can come back to is them. Because that's his team. They're going to have a quarterback opening. So, and no offense to Trey Lance, but if Tom Brady says, I want to come back to your team, 49ers, they're going to say, Trey Lance, sorry for you, but you're going to sit back and watch. And again, even from that aspect, what can be better than Trey Lance sitting back and learning from Tom Brady in person, right?
I should probably bet something outlandish on this hypothetical going to San Fran
Well, again,
scenario.
as I said before, sir, I only bet on myself, so I'm not going to bet anything on that. But I'm just saying I don't believe he's fully retired until week one comes up and he's not on somebody's roster. Because that whole "you never know" comment he made on his own podcast. Okay, yeah, okay, that's not talk of a retirement guy. Retirement guy says, "No, I'm done. I ain't coming back," and that's it. He didn't say that.
You don't you don't think he just said that because he's just like, hey, I have a captive audience, and I'm like, hey, I'll give you something to chew on.
No, I do agree with you. I'm sure his family's ready for him to be done with football. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm sure Tom Brady has a little bit of influence in his family. I'm sure if he went to his family and said, "Hey guys, I'm really ready to be home with you, but there's just an opportunity out in California for me to play again for my favorite team. You guys can understand if I play one more year, right? Just one more year, just one. You guys are still young. You guys are only 10 years old. You'll be 11 next year. That's plenty of time. We're good. And it's not like he's going to be divorced from Giselle, so I'm sure she can wait another year. She'll be all right. She ain't going nowhere,
Or
and he ain't going nowhere either.
you
But
say that.
she ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, you say that.
And
All
even if she
right.
does, so what? He's Tom Brady, right? He can do better.
All right. That concludes our incredibly outlandish segment of Go Talk regarding the retirement of one Tom Brady. And coming up next, we'll close out the show.